Hello everybody and welcome to your yoga and functional movement session. These sessions are designed to improve on your strength, your stamina, your stability and your suppleness, whilst giving you some much needed space from the busyness of your day. Remember to work to your own level of ability and experience and stay away from any sharp acute pain. And if something doesn't feel right for you today, then listen to your body, even listen to what's been said in your mind and miss it out, or adapt the pose to suit your level of ability. The breathing is done in and out through the nose. However, if you do have a cold or you're congested, then please breathe through the mouth. The main thing is not to hold the breath. We want to keep it flowing naturally. This is a strong dynamic movement practice that requires effort, focus and discipline. We want to be engaged physically and mentally and be present. Avoid working aggressively or applying too much tension. We want to contract and hold strong, but we don't want to become tight or restricted. Okay, let's begin. So lying down on your mat. For this session, we will be needing a belt or something equivalent that you can use as a belt. So lying on your mat with the soles of the feet together, drawing the buttocks towards the heels. If your knees are quite high, give yourself a bit more space. So remember to just work to your own range. Press the soles of the feet together, so we're connecting nerve endings to nerve endings. Then we're just going to ease our way back onto our elbows. I'm just going to lift the pelvis up to just allow the buttocks to move away from the upper back. And then we're coming down onto the ground to separate the shoulder blades, relax the shoulders into the ground, lift the head, draw the chin in, and allow your arms to relax by your sides, palms up, a small space around the armpit region, and then let your eyes close. So just taking a few breaths to ground yourself, to start to draw your attention inwards. We take this time out here to switch off from the busyness of your day, to let go of all that has gone before, and come into the present. Feel the breath coming in through the nose and releasing all the way out. Allowing the breath to lengthen. Allowing the muscles of the face to soften. Enjoy the support of the ground beneath you. Keep the connection of your feet. So the nerve endings to nerve endings connecting as you press your feet gently together. Allow the knees to move out and relax down. And keep a little bit of pressure towards the top of the buttock region to keep the lower back lengthened. Good. Letting the eyes softly open, extending the arms to the ceiling, lengthening into your fingertips, keeping the shoulder blades engaged with the mat. Hold the crease of each elbow so you create a large rectangle shape here. And without disturbing the pelvis or the ribs, extend the arms towards the head. Feel there's a lengthening from the armpit to the elbow tip. Feel that the front ribs can stay quiet and in. So you just work to your range without disturbing the middle. Press the feet down slightly forward into the mat. And again, work slowly so you can feel what's happening as you have changed your arm position. Let the skin on the sides of the body lengthen out. Breathe and expand into those ribs. And then releasing out of your Supta Baddha Konasana, supine cobbler pose, as we draw our arms over, place them by the sides, draw your knees together, step the feet wide of the hips, let the inner knees come towards one another. Now we have an inward rotation with our leg bones in sockets, and allow the lower back to release. So feel that space connected with the ground beneath you, of the lower back region into the thoracic spine, all the way up to the back of the head. Stepping your right foot to your left, rolling onto your right side, bringing your left arm across and in front of you to support you, and then easing your way up to sit. Upavista Konasana. Sitting towards the back edge of your mat and taking your legs into a nice V shape that is comfortable for you and where you can sit upright. Okay. Now we're going to work the legs. So we want to dorsiflex the feet. We want to switch on our thigh muscles. So I'm sending more signals from here to say, hey, let's contract a little further. This will give the back of the legs a chance to broaden and lengthen out. And then I'm going to ask you to press down into your legs, and it's almost like you're trying to push your legs apart without disturbing anything, to switch on more up here. Okay, so we want to have this pelvis held stable, not kind of slopping and dropping into this. Extend your arms out in front of you. Keep the shoulders back, not racing ahead of the chest. And again, maintaining this straight spine to the best that you can. Extend the arms to the ceiling. So feel there's a growing in size as you lengthen from the pelvis all the way up through the crown of the head. Turn the little fingers in slightly to soften across the back of the neck and upper back region. Keep the thighs switched on. Keep pressing those legs down and back. So little micro moves just add a little sweetness to the pose. Lengthening into each fingertip. Breathe. Relax the shoulder blades down the back. Feel the connection from the shoulder blades to each hand. And then drawing the arms all the way down. So we're just going to take a little side bend. When we bend to the side, we don't want to compress and shorten too much on the side that we're bending over to. We want to keep some space. So again, it's the difference of just slopping and dropping in or extending, lifting, moving. So if you take your right hand by your right inner knee and extend the left arm up. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, support yourself as you just tilt over towards the right. Now, because my right arm is restricting me, I'm going to move my right arm further forward towards the right inner calf. And notice if you're starting to lean back. So can you move the weight into the sit bones towards the center? And now can you rotate these right ribs forward, these left ribs back? And you can use your hand against your leg or your arm to just allow yourself to do a little rotation of the spine. Maybe even turn the head and gaze up to the ceiling. And this top arm is an Urdhva Hastasana, upward salute arm. So not this, no ballerinas. Extend and lengthen, secure this arm bone through the shoulder blade region. Again, keep some space here so you can breathe. Inhale, come up and release. So left hand to the inner left leg, extend the right arm up. Lift and lengthen. Take a breath in, keep these legs switched on and active. Breathe in, side bend, just keeping the weight in each buttock, not leaning over onto the left completely. Working from the sides of the body, from the pelvic rim upwards. And then again, I'm just moving my hand a little further. And we're just going to rotate these left ribs forward, right ribs back. Bring the weight into the center of the sit bones. And maybe just pivot the head, turn and look up. Inhale back to center and release. Well done. Okay, so from here, we are taking our strap to place it around the pad of your right foot. Now, if you find your legs are too wide, folks, do bring them a little bit closer in. And at the same time, if you're very, very loose and supple in your hips, don't go into side splits. Okay, I want you to create more of a V shape that works for you. So lining up the legs to your measure, taking the strap around the pad of the right foot, holding that belt with your left hand. And I just slip the index finger down the center and grab. I don't want to be wrapping it around my hand. There's no need to do that. So we're going to move from these side abdominal muscles to do our rotation. We're going to keep the pelvis quiet. We're going to keep our back leg active, just whilst we get this center of chest more in line with our right big toe. So we're going to take our right hand behind us. So let's lengthen ourselves up. Take a breath in. Again, move from the side abdominal muscles rather than just pulling on the belt. The belt can assist, and let your head just turn with you, but don't let it race ahead of you. Take a breath in, move your right hand further back, sit up tall, and maybe turn some more. Now you can add a little bit of help from the belt, and then pivot the head round last to look over your right shoulder, and maybe even turn the eyes into the corners. So your right shoulder blade is retracting and your left shoulder blade is protracting. Turn the head forward, take the belt in both hands, and let's widen those hands so we have a piece of the belt in each. Check in with your back leg, and we're going to go forward here now into what's called our Parsva, Upper Uttanasana, sideways wide angle pose. Just go to your measure. Don't try and lay on your leg if you're not ready for it. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, hinge from the hips, contract those front thighs, and hinge forward. And just pause. Check into what's happening. Now, this is your measure. Just drop your chin down and in slightly. Take your gaze to your thigh, knee, or shin bone. Just finding your little drishti point, your point of focus. If you have a large bend to your arms, then without allowing the shoulders to race ahead, just creep the hands along the belt and pause. So think forward moving action. Breathe in and go a little deeper, just for those that are, or those that can. Keep the left side of your rib cage turning towards your right big toe. Again, breathe in, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold and deepen. Now at this stage, some of you will grab your right big toe side of the foot and then take the right hand on top of that. So you've got left hand first, right hand on top. Breathe in, lift and lengthen, check that back leg. And then exhale, go to your measure of the pose and feel that the front body is lengthening out and the back body is long, not rounding and collapsing. Elbows can lift out and up to give you space to move into. Inhale, lift, take the strap, everyone sit up tall. Come out with good measure and grace, not just collapsing out of a posture. And then taking the belt off the foot to transition across. So again, placing the belt around the pad of the foot, that's the fleshy part beneath the toes. Take the strap into your right hand, index finger slides through and grip. Take your left hand by your outer hip. Alert the legs, press down and push out, squeeze through the thighs. Let's get it all switched on. Lift and lengthen. Take a breath in. Rotate from the side of abdominal muscles towards that left big toe. Move the left hand a little bit further back. Again, breathe and lengthen. Without pushing out, and then turn some more, keeping the pelvis quiet, pivoting the head, turning the gaze towards your left shoulder. Softening those eyes. Pivot the head forward, take the strap into both hands, so you have this space to move into. Keep your guru leg, your back leg switched on. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, hinge forward and pause. Now the right side of the body's got to keep this work happening. The right buttock sit down, the right thigh engaged, same with the left. If there's a big bend to your arms, walk your hands along, take a breath in. So find your measure, either holding here, dropping your drishti point, to that extended left leg, or breathing and just working a little deeper each time in this forward moving action. Letting the head come down in line with the spine to your measure. You're grabbing the foot, right hand first, and make it a good firm hold, not a gripping or pulling onto the toes. Feel this extension down the right side of your body. Bring the left hand on top, breathe it in, and exhale, maybe go to that measure where you can in this pose without collapsing. Now on this side, I want to lift my right buttock more. So I have to back off a little on this side. So observe how you function within these shapes. Allowing the elbows to lift. Inhale, lift the head, take the strap, sit up tall. And then coming back to center and moving the belt off. Okay, folks, so now we're going to go forward. Just work to your measure. So sitting central on those buttock bones, extend the arms out and once again lift. Rotate from the wrist to the fingertips forward. Keep these arms strong in the sockets. Take a breath in, hinge from the hips and pause. Now don't be tempted to push your bottom out and sink in the middle here as you anterior tilt. Keep this connection of front and back of body. Breathe in, exhale, hinge and pause. Now if that's your measure, just bring your hands down onto the floor and feel this lifting up action here. Draw the chin and lower your gaze point. For those that can go a little further, extend forward. Extend forward, keep the legs active, press down, push out. Thigh muscles contracted. Keep extending, bringing the hands down and the head level with your spine. Check in with the legs. Press down, gently pushing out and drawing in through the hip sockets. Lift the head, extend the spine, come all the way up and drawing the arms all the way down. Well done. Okay, so just softening those knees and bringing the legs together. So we're coming onto our hands and knees to do our Adho Mukha Svanasana. This will be done 3 times. The first time we'll all do it with bent legs to give us an opportunity to lengthen the spine. Sometimes when we straighten the legs from the off, especially if we're new to this pose, we tend to have this kind of rounded shape. So bend the legs, straighten the back, and then in time, when you have the length through the spinal column, you then have the chance to lengthen out those legs as well. Okay, so onto your hands and knees. Placing the hands out in front of you, and we'll start from the hands. So take a look at your hands. Spread your fingers out like stars. Take a moment to engage from these shoulder blades. So we don't want the weight just dropping into our wrists. And at the same time, observe, do you let the hands roll to the little finger side, or can you plant down through the base of the thumb? So again, weight distribution. The hands are ahead of the shoulders, and I'm just taking my knees back, more in line with the hips and turning the toes. So I'm going to push down through the hands, push slightly out, and then draw in with the arm bones into the sockets by engaging around the shoulder blades. As I turn the toes under, I'm going to lift the hips, keep the legs bent, let the head rest in, and I'm just adjusting my feet so I can come onto the pads of the feet. So let's get this lengthened spine going on, the head just hanging comfortably. You're looking towards your feet, checking that the feet are aligned, parallel. Again, don't anterior tilt and push your bottom up and push your stomach to your thighs. Keep the length, keep a neutral pelvis position. Now for some, we can start to move those heels back and down as we straighten those legs. If your heels will extend to the floor, go with that. If not, just stay as you are. Remember, in your own practice, you can place 2 blocks underneath your heel bones to assist in filling the gap. As you hold the pose here, Take a look at your toes, spread them. Again, contract the front thighs. Feel the skin from the ankle joint to the knee, lengthening upwards. From the knee across the thigh to the hip, lengthening. And the back of the legs are broadening. You lock out your elbows in your Adho Mukha Svanasana, maybe just soften them a little. But keep the muscles active and strong. Then everybody coming down onto the hands and knees, pausing for a breath. And we'll try that again. So either going with your bent legs or going straight. So take a breath in, move your weight back, extend and lengthen into your Adho Mukha Svanasana. Press down, forward, slightly out with the hands. Feel the connection of the base of the thumb and the little finger. Feel the connection of your shoulder blades. Again, just add a little softness to your elbow joints. Lengthen away into the pelvis, down through the heels, contracting the front thighs. And again, down onto the hands and knees and pause. Just have a little moment there. All right, one last time. Shifting the weight back, turning those toes. Inhale, lift and lengthen. So find your posture, greet your posture. Don't be in a rush to get there and finish it off. It's a progressive journey. Fine-tuning, observing, developing this conscious awareness of your physical structure. Remember, if the holdings are a little bit long for you, then you can always release. Just come out with good measure, with grace and form. And then coming down onto the knees. Okay, so walking the hands back, we're going to find our way up to standing. So come into the center of the mat, and we're going to look where your pelvis is, and we're going to line up our feet underneath. Now, I'm going to turn side on. We're taking a forward fold, Uttanasana, or a variation of it. So traditionally we have legs together, hands to floor, so on. Today we're going to do this more of a restful variation of it, even though it still requires effort. Some of you may bend your legs, but remember, if you bend your legs, try not to kind of do this action. Think about lengthening out and allowing yourself to release down and head in. And obviously, some of us will be more straight legs. So let's start, feet hip distance apart. Press down, push out, and then feel this action of inner leg switched on, especially from the inner groin to the inner knee to the inner ankle ball. Tailbone down and in. Let's fold and hold at the crease of each elbow. Extend the arms to the ceiling. This is where you will bend your knees or keep your legs straight. Move some weight into the pads of the feet as you extend forward and feel what has to happen in those legs. Hip back through the thighs. Allow your kneecaps to lift, especially if your legs are straight. Feel the length through the spine. Don't be tempted to go into that anterior tilt. Feel that the back of the body is spacious. Extend and lengthen. Keep the head in line with the spine and coming all the way down to your measure. So feel that the front ribs can move forward towards the chest, chest towards the shoulders. Hold the arms firmly. They act like a set of weights to lengthen from your pelvis to your shoulders. Press down, push slightly out with the feet and draw in through the inner legs. Breathe. Let the back of the head lengthen down, softening the neck. So the energy in this pose comes from the feet, transitions all the way up through the legs. Feel this drawing up through the soles of the feet to the hips, and then cascading all the way down through those elbow tips to the ground. Now take the hands to the crease at the top of the legs. Come up halfway. Now this is very important that we keep fired up here. Keep the spinal column long, keep the thighs switched on. And as you fire up from the feet, knees or thighs, hinge from the hips and stand with the head level. And then bring the feet together whilst we find our Tadasana. So you guys stay facing forward. Join the feet, connect from the big toe backwards. Some of us will connect the inner heel. Keep the ankle bones slightly apart. Press down, push out through the feet, but again engage the inner legs. Outer legs switched on, buttocks firm but not clenched. Buttock cheeks moving down, pelvic bone lifting up. Extend the arms down by the sides. Shoulders back in line. Chin drawn back and in. So there's a lengthening up the back body from the heels, but there's also a lengthening up from the toe tips all the way up through the crown of the head. Close your eyes, get a sense of balance, connect with your breath. Good, and then extending the arms out in front of you, palms face down. We're taking our Uttanasana chair pose with a variation to the arms. Spread your fingers. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, bend your legs as if you're going to sit down onto the chair. Now don't go trying to find the chair and anterior tilt to get down here, because this switches off the back body, spills out the front. So tailbone moving away from the back of the head. Press down, push out through the feet, spread those toes. Can you go a little lower, knees forward? Crown of head stays facing the ceiling. You're not diving down, you're squatting down. Press through the feet, keep switched on as you come back to your standing. And just lower hands to thighs. So the full pose, we take our arms up. And usually what happens, this is where it kind of sends this midsection out of line and there's a big compromise. So just use your arms wherever you can. So we don't want to be in this. Okay, we don't want to be doing this as we go. This is switched off. This is all nipping in. But at the same time, we don't want to posterior tilt and be stuck. So you need to find, that's why it's good to work with a mirror. These 2 points can stay connected and switched on. There's a moving out of the buttocks, but there's not a pushing out. Big difference. So as we extend our arms out, lift into your Urdhva Hastasana arms. Find your measure. If you're already doing this here, then start to bring your arms further forward. That'll work better for you. Take a breath in. As you exhale, sit. So again, don't rush into the pose. Take your time. It's a joyful one. Go to your measure. Check in with your pelvis. Check in with your ribs. Check in with your hands, your shoulder blades, your shoulders themselves. Soften your gaze. Now can you press down, push out through the feet, and then squeeze in as if you've got a block in between your thighs. Couple more breaths. Feel the joy, folks. Or find the joy. Press through the feet, stand. Don't drop out. Release the arms down. So I always work with 3 components to the posture. We have the entry, we have the holding, and we have the release. So often, because of the strength and the stamina contained within the pose, we get tired and we collapse out. But that is a vital component of the posture, in my humble opinion. So if you work the bookends of the pose, the entry and the exit, the middle bit will come with much more grace and ease. Still requires effort, but it becomes effortless effort. Okay, so let's try a little bit of functional movement now as we separate the feet. And we're going to be lifting up onto the pads of the feet. So that's the fleshy part beneath the toes, and your heels will lift. And you're going to really pull up through the calves, pull up through the thighs. and we're going to do a little bit of squatting. So I just want you to watch first, because you will be having to balance. So you don't want to be watching and trying to do it at the same time. It just doesn't work, folks. So you're finding your drishti point, and that's in between my hands. And these arms act like stabilizers, not sort of soft spaghetti type arms. They're not going to serve you well when you're trying to balance. Plus, you were transferring your weight outwards rather than having it sat inwards. Okay? So as you extend your arms out, just observe. You are going to lift up onto the pads of the feet. Feel that connection. And I'm going to go into a little squat. So I'm going to send my knees forward, bottom down. Knees forward, bottom down. Now that might be your measure, and I just want you to hold it here. I want you to observe whether you are tilting this pelvis back and forth. Just let me find my position. If you wobble, pause. So I'm going to go a little lower. I'm going to go to my range, where I'm lining up the hips possibly with the knees. Still keeping the heels well away from the ground. Now the tricky part is coming out. You're going to come up for 3, 2, and then up to 1, starting position, and then lower, hands to thighs. So we have 3 of these. This is about being aware of what's happening with your midsection, keeping your feet strong. You will wobble, so think about switching on from your inner and outer legs and have fun with it. All right, folks, let's go. Hands out, spread fingers. Rise up, my friends, onto the balls of the feet. Take a breath in, knees forward, start your squat. Pause where you need to. Remember, we've got to get out of this. Don't push your hips forward. Then coming up for 3, 2, keep those legs bent. If you wobble, pause, lift the heels. Up for 1, hold it at the top. Lower the heels, lower the arms, pause. Arms out. Firmness to the arms. Feel the skin on the underside of these arms lifting up onto the bone. Roll up onto the pads of the feet. Send the knees forward. Keep those heels high, folks. Heels high. Feel the connection from toes to the pad of the foot. Start your descent, tailbone down and in. It's like you're trying to sit your buttocks towards your heels, on your heels. Heels come up to buttocks, buttocks come to heels. And then start to come out for 3, 2, pause. 1 at the top. Heels down, hands to thighs, hold. Last time. Also, if you are doing this on carpet, you are going to wobble more. Okay, it's like trying to balance on a sponge when there's too much cushioning. You really do. That's why we do yoga in bare feet, because you're connecting with the nerve endings in the feet. You're feeling what's happening with your feet. You're feeling what's going on from the hips to the feet, from the hips to the head. Okay. One more time. Arms out. Lift up. Knees forward. Start your squat. Tailbone down and in. Observe the pelvis. Pause if you need to. Lift those heels higher. Spread out through those fingers. Coming up for 3, 2, 1 at the top. Lower the heels. Hands to thighs. Well done. Okay. So coming into the center of the mat. Now I'm going to show you position of your arms first, and then we can do it when we go into the leg position. So you have a choice of taking your arms out, rotating your arms bones down, sliding the arms back as you hold your elbow joints. And as you do this, be careful you don't just collapse into the back like this. So I'm going to press my lower back and middle back into my arms and adjust my pelvis as well. So you're keeping this neutral pelvis. Or if that's too intense, you could just hold the lower arms, but it is a connection. It's there for a reason, to keep your shoulders back and feel this openness on the front of the body. Or you can do namaste hands. So that will go something like this. Your arms will be out. You rotate your arms down. You'll take your arms back. You'll take your hands behind you and turn the fingers upwards into the spinal column. Place the hands together. Again, being very careful this doesn't happen. You don't have to fly the arms back. Just line up the elbows with the shoulders. Feel the skin rotating from the chest to the shoulder head and back. Okay. So choosing your arm position once we've stepped the legs wide. So into the center of the mat. Take the legs about 3.5 feet apart. Line up the feet with the wide edge of the mat. Let your hands rest on your outer legs. So finding your Tadasana here, okay? So if you learn the basics of Tadasana, mountain pose, where we have the legs together and we're stood with good alignment and form and strength and stability and suppleness and the usual stuff, just apply that throughout any of your postures. So we press down, push out through the feet, but we're also going to grip in. And when I mean grip, I mean a non-aggressive grip, like a holding of an object, maybe like a fit ball in between your thighs. You're holding onto it. So the inner and outer legs are switched on. The ankle bones aren't bulging out. You're pressing down. You're keeping weight on the inside edge of your big toe, or the big toe side of the foot. Place your hands on your outer pelvis and just feel if it started to tilt forward, maybe you have to bring your legs together. My legs are probably a little bit longer apart or wider apart because of my height. Okay, so I've probably gone about 4 feet apart, so 3.5 to 4 feet. Feel the connection of these leg bones into the sockets. Feel this switch on action here, length down the lower spine. And we're going to extend the arms out. You're choosing your arm position. Rotate your arm bones down. Take your hands slightly back. And then swing those hands to meet one another. And either hold the elbows, or I'm going for namaste hands today, and pressing. So from here, we are going to turn your left leg bone in 60 degrees. So I'm going to shift my hips back to enable that action to happen. I'm going to check I've done it. So I'm looking at my own leg. Then I'm going to rotate and turn this right leg 90 degrees. I'm going to draw back on the right leg, on the right hip, and draw round on the left. So allowing that leg bone to rotate into its socket. Inner left thigh is moving in and back, and the outer left thigh is moving forward and in. Again, I'm slopping and dropping a little bit here because I'm focused on the legs, so I'm going to address the pelvis to neutral, and we can only do that once the legs are secure and firm, otherwise the back leg usually buckles. Feel that you can put the weight into the center of your right heel bone to stop locking out on the knee. Connect with your right big toe to your right inner heel. Now to move forward, drive from your back leg, your back foot, and feel that switching on action through the pelvis. And just pause part way. So again, keep the hips moving forward towards the top edge of your mat. Feel that nothing's dropped at the front. Then maybe extend forward a little further. So Uttanasana, pyramid pose. Feel that the back can stay connected to your arms or hands. Drawing the gaze to your big toe. Pause here if that's your measure. I'll go a little deeper, but do not bend the leg. Remember, we are folding the trunk towards the leg. Obviously, don't hyperextend. Control that knee. Support it. Take a soft micro bend if needed. Put some weight into the center of the heel bone rather at the back of the heel. That usually does the trick. Inhale, lift the head. Control your release. And we're going to turn our right foot in and line up the left into your starting position. Okay, so again, to turn my right leg bone in, I'm going to shift the hips back, turn it in, move the hips back in line, and then rotate my left leg. 90 degrees, line heel to heel, or if you need a little bit more space, go slightly wider with your left foot. Again, let's take a moment to draw that right leg bone a little deeper into its socket. Press into the back foot, especially around that little toe side, the outer edge. Press down into your left big toe, into the left inner heel. And again, instead of collapsing down, feel that you can address the pelvis. So pubic bone up, tailbone down. Take a breath in, drive from your back foot. Move slowly with intention and pause. So that might be your measure. Straight legs, straight spine. Head in line with the spine. You can drop your head, folks, and it may even reach your knee, but everything else will just collapse in the middle. And what would be the point of that? So lengthen out, lengthen out. Keep rotating towards that left big toe, drawing that chin in, closing the gap between your tummy and your thigh, the chest and the lower thigh for those that are, and then bringing the head down in line. Inhale, lift the head, press through your back foot, engage the back leg, come up. Rotate your left leg forward. And carefully now, release your arms. Just have a moment in the center with the feet secure, the thighs drawn up, the tailbone down and in. So these postures are great for unraveling ourselves, for educating our muscles to restore back to the natural length, to create space, to contract and hold strong, but then let go and soften. So we're not constantly dragging a contraction into another contraction and another, and then taking what you've developed in one posture to the next. So we want to contract and we want to release and let go. Okay, so Virabhadrasana 2 now. Legs are going a little bit wider, if you can, but obviously you've got to check in with your pelvis. If that is sinking forward or you're a little bit stiff and tucking back, then bring your legs closer together. And obviously your front leg bend will not be as deep. But again, it's working to your own range. Extend into those legs, press down, out, squeeze in. Feel this switched on action here. So we need to do that same leg position as before. So shifting the hips back, rotate your left leg bone in 60 degrees, turn out the right. Line heel to heel. Take a look back, make sure you have turned that leg in. Feel this rotation, so the outer left thigh moving forward and in, inner left thigh moving back in that direction. Tailbone down and in. Extend the arms out. So again, firm up the legs, feet, knees, thighs, hips. Then, again, do the little neutral pelvis. Extend the arms out and let's lift to the ceiling. Find your measure in the lift of the arms. Soften and quieten down those front ribs. Now as you press into your back leg firmly, into the outer edge of your heel, let's bend from the back of the right knee and lower. Don't lean forward. Think about the pelvis moving down as the knee goes forward. So press down through both feet. Suck up into the knees, into the thighs, into the hips. Lengthen into those fingertips. Maybe some of us can tilt the head back and look up, keeping a small space at the back of the neck. Close the mouth. Draw back on the right side, draw round on the left. Level the chin, press into your back leg, pull yourself up. Bring your right leg forward and the left, and bring the arms down. Well done. Let's try the other side. So turning your right leg bone in 60 degrees, turning out the left, lining up heel to heel. Rotate, firm the thighs, tailbone down and in. Feel this neutral pelvis here. We don't want to spill out. This is more of a back extension, but it's controlled. Extend the arms out. Lift into the fingertips. Take your breath in. Virabhadrasana 1 to the left. So the weight isn't sat in my left thigh. It's back in my right leg. That's the guru. So the guru is often the part that we're moving away from, holding us strong, keeping us on track. Lift and lengthen into those fingertips, adjust through the pelvis, right hip forward, left hip back. Tilt the head back, take the drishti point to the ceiling or in between those hands if you can, or stay with the gaze forward. So come on folks, let's take the energy from the hips to the hands. Let's transfer the energy down through those feet. Let's smile. Soften down the front ribs. Level the head, press into your back foot, draw yourself out. Turn the left leg forward. And bring the arms down. Softening those knees, step or jump your feet back into your Tadasana. Drawing the head level. Excellent. Okay, so we are going to lie down now onto our mats. Now again, I would like you to remain seated whilst you observe what's happening next, okay? Because we're going to do the modified pose, then I'm going to give you an option and we'll do the full. And it's very important that you keep your legs switched on, because if those legs are not switched on, because they're attached way up here through your psoas muscle into your mid-spine, they become very heavy and they put the strain around your midsection. So this is Urdhva Prasarita Padasana, upward extended foot pose. And we want to make sure that we're getting as much length here as we can. So some of us may need to put our index finger and thumb just around these outer buttocks. You don't have to sit on your hands. Okay, so just stay there and observe. As I come down onto the mat, I find my Tadasana position. So like you're doing mountain pose on your back, in a supine variation of it. Draw your toes to your shin bones, connect your front thighs, place your hands by your sides. And you'll draw your chin in. Now again, you're making sure this pelvis is in neutral, your thighs are switched on, your feet are switched on. We're switched on from head to hands. Now I'm asking you to put your hands by your sides. I know we do the full pose, arms over the head, but not today. So shoulders down. Feel this connection around here. And we're going to do single leg lifts first. So I'll show you. You will go 30, 60, as close to 90 as you can, keeping the pelvis level, and you'll release. Very important what's going on here. Then we will do the other side. Remember, your hands could be just wedged in. Once we've done that, we will then move on to both legs. If you're not doing both legs together, then I will ask you to either stay with singles, and we'll do an even number, or try this variation where you bring your knees in when I say 30, you extend up to 60. When I say 90, bend again, and then it'll be out and release. Okay, now the full posture, stay with me. Shoulders down, again, engage from the pelvis, spread the toes, dorsiflex the feet. You'll take a breath in to 30 and breathe out. So I'm seeing my toe tips in my outer vision, keeping this back space down. Up to 60, kneecaps and toes, keep pressing down into the back. Up to 90, or as close as you can, without swinging, none of this going on. Remember, the pelvis is quiet, the legs are flexing towards the trunk. Down and release. Stay switched on because we'll be going again. So we're going to do our singles first of all, folks. So hands in your chosen position. Engage the pelvis, brace the legs. Imagine you've got a block in between your thighs and you're gently squeezing in. Press down through your right leg. Lift the left leg to 30 degrees. 60. Be mindful of the pelvis. 90. Down and release. Stay on this leg. 30. 60. 90. Down and release. Keep the back connected. One more time. 30. 60. 90. Down and release. Switching over to the right. Left leg stays firm and down. 30. Don't let this left leg switch off. 60. Press down through the back. 90. Contract the thighs. Down and release. Stay switched on. 30. 60. 90. Down and release. So I think we've got one more. 30. 60. 90. Release. Okay, have a little rest. Let the contractions go. Now, remember we've got both legs together. I'll stay with singles. We're going to do 6 or do the in, up, bend, release. All right, your choice, folks. Keep it safe. Don't strain around here. If you're feeling like, not good. And I am breathing. You're breathing in, you're breathing out. You're breathing in, you're breathing out. Don't fill up like a balloon and go all red in the face on me. All right. So, setting yourselves up. I'm going to obviously do both legs now. So you choose your measure. Take a breath in, lift to 30 degrees and breathe out. 60 degrees, breathe it out, pressure back to floor. Up to 90 without lifting the pelvis, or as close as you can, and then down and release. Good. 30, 60, 90, down and release. Use your arms. 30, 60, 90, down and release. Hold there, but stay switched on. Just do your little spot checks. Press down through the back. Brace the thighs. Take a breath in to 30 and hold. 60 and hold. 90 and hold. Down and release. 30. 60. 90. Down and release. One more time, folks. Make it count. 30. 60. 90. Down and release. And then soften. Well done. Well done. Okay, draw the knees in towards the chest, cross at your ankles, lock the feet. As you breathe out, take the knees wide, soften the stomach, and draw the chin in and press your back to the floor, especially that space around the top of the buttocks. Beautiful. Shavasana time now, folks. The only pose that we ever arrive at, just like in life, corpse pose. The rest is just a progressive journey of joy and growth. Okay, so placing the feet on the floor, let the legs relax out to the side, soften across the pelvis. Just come up and check that you are lying in a straight line. You'll be very surprised what happens. So I'm just measuring my distance. I'm lifting the buttocks up, smoothing them under, and then I'm rolling down vertebrae by vertebrae, lifting the head, drawing the chin in, and taking the hands by the sides, palms up. So a small space between the arms and the trunk for the air to circulate. Lift the head, draw the chin in, back of the neck soft. If you find your head tilts back a lot, you could use a large block like this. This is a block, not a brick, to place underneath the back of the head to draw that chin in and soften, or use a folded blanket or towel to pad out that space. And then when you're ready, folks, close your eyes. There's nothing now to be done physically. We're just allowing the whole of our physical structure to just rest onto the mat space beneath or the ground. We're allowing all the muscle and connective tissue and the bones to just release. We're drawing our attention onto our breathing and taking a moment to observe the breath. Letting the face soften and settle again. And just let your thoughts and your images be less of a distraction now. So that is just the process of the mind. And those thoughts and images, they don't actually exist. They're a manifestation of your mind process. So observe them, but don't go off on a little journey. If that happens, just draw yourself back to your breath. And you're giving yourself permission on a physical, mental, and an emotional level to simply be present for you, to show up for you, to let go and release any tension, resistance, or negative energy. And eventually, as you peel back the layers in your Shavasana, the breath is no longer a point of focus. You're simply just suspended in this no time, this no thing, just being present as you surrender fully. Good. Now stay still. Just draw your attention back to your physical practice, to your body, to the heaviness of the limbs, the softness of the skin. And take a moment to reflect on the space that you've created, not just physically, but mentally too. Let your eyes open, let the gaze be upwards with the vision widening. And draw your hands to rest on your lower abdominal region. Elbows sliding out slightly wide of the hips. Bend the legs, place the feet wide of the mat, inner knees just gently resting towards one another. Lift the head, draw the chin in. Again, feel the whole of the back body rested. Hopefully, the fluctuations of your mind process have settled a little. And we're stepping our right foot to our left and rolling over onto our right side, bringing that left arm across in front of the chest to support you. And just resting here on your restorative side. And then carefully easing your way up as we come into a seated finish. So choose a posture. You may wish to sit on blocks that works for you. I'm going for Sukhasana, easy cross leg. Just finding my sit bones, sitting up tall. And as I lengthen out here, we're going to bring our hands together into Namaste. Thumb tip towards the sternum, the rest of the fingers pointing slightly away, elbows soft. Just lowering the gaze to your fingertips and letting your eyes close. So always good to take a moment to seal your practice, the end of a cycle. Notice the quality of your breath. And what you cultivate on your mat is yours to keep for the rest of your day and do with it what you will. And sometimes we go off track again, but you can always bring yourself back. So how we practice on the mat, we can practice in our daily lives. And that's what it's all about. Take a moment to set your positive, uplifting intention for the rest of your day, choosing something that will serve you well. Bow the head a little further, soften through the back of the neck, and allow your practice to be sealed with your silent Namaste. Allow the eyes to softly open and release the hands, drawing the head level. Well done, folks. Enjoy the rest of your day. Keep it joyful, and thank you.